Someone owes me a beer.
What have you got, young bloke?
Vision from traffic control camera across the road from the hotel. Oh. Blake Davis. This was taken at 2:30, just before he ended up dead in the spa.
You're all the same. You promised me this.
Blonde hair, black dress. A mystery girl.
Girlfriend, groupie, stalker.
We need to ID that woman, because chances are she was the last person to see Blake alive.
Or she could be his killer. Davis, we realise this must be very distressing for you. But I need to ask you, do you know this woman?
It was taken outside the hotel earlier this morning.
I recently gave a lecture in sports psychology. She was a student at the university. After my lecture, she collared me, wanted to know how I got my job with the club.
Is that it?
She seemed to know a lot about me, where I worked, who I was married to.
Do you remember her name?
Rachel, someone?
How did Blake know her? OK, Mrs. Davis. We know from the hotel concierge that Rachel was asking for Blake. We know they went to the El Paradiso and they had an argument before he was killed. So, how do you think Blake knew her?
He said she was phoning him, harassing him.
About what?
She wanted a job with the team medical staff. She thought he could make it happen.
Mrs. Davis, to the best of your knowledge, was Blake having an affair with Rachel?
She was an ambitious piece of work. I wouldn't put anything past her.
Got her, boss. Her real name's Rachel Ma. The University of the Sunshine Coast confirms she's a postgrad student in the Faculty of Health and Sports Science.
Got an address?
Somebody owes me 2 beers now. Or not.
That's her.
That her?
Yep.
Rachel Ma, Detectives Cross and Tully.
What's this about?
We're investigating the murder of Blake Davis.
What's that got to do with me?
We have information that you were with Blake at El Paradiso.
Well, your information's wrong.
So you weren't with him?
No.
But you were at El Paradiso.
I had a few drinks. That's what people do on a Friday night.
And where'd you go afterwards?
Nowhere. Home.
You didn't go to Blake's apartment?
No.
And you didn't argue with him?
No, look, I'm meeting friends, OK?
I'm starting to lose count of the lies here, Rachel.
Better call your friends. Tell them you're going to be late.
Sure looks like an argument to me, Rachel. You still want to lie to us?
I'd try the truth. I think he's run out of charm.
I went to El Paradiso to meet him.
What, you mean you followed him? We know you've been calling him Rachel.
I want to work with professional athletes, not old men with bad backs. Blake said he could introduce me to the right people, pull some strings.
What did you promise him?
Nothing. Blake knew how competitive it is to get a job in sports medicine. I just did what I did to get ahead.
So Blake helped you out of the goodness of his heart. Is that what you're telling us?
He was a nice guy.
So nice, you went back to his hotel with him?
No, he left El Paradiso and I stayed on there.
But we know you went to the hotel.
I went there later for a drink.
Where you just happened to bump into Blake again. What did you argue with Blake about?
Look, it doesn't matter, all right?
I think it does, Rachel, because shortly after this, Blake ends up with his head being caved in.
Okay. So after you argued, where did you go?
I told him to piss off, I got into a taxi and I went home.
Did you see him again?
No.
And you don't know where he went?
No idea.
What have you got for me, Charlie?
Twice in one day, Tully. My luck just keeps getting better.
You said you had information, Charlie boy.
Maybe not. First of all, I have to put on record that I am now working for the football club. Keith Boswell hired me this morning
To do what exactly?
to keep his players out of trouble.
You're doing a good job so far. I tip my hat to you, Charlie.
Got a smart mouth.
He's a smart man. Now, what have you got?
You have to understand that I'm going out on a limb here for you, Tully. I'm breaking the client's confidence.
So why are you?
Because there's something you need to know.
Are we going to dance all day? What have you got?
A woman has contacted the club. She says she was sexually assaulted by one of the players last night, and Boswell's asked me to check into it.
Do you think this has got anything to do with our murder?
She contacted Boswell and not the police, so what does that say to you?
You're the man with all the answers. Why don't you tell us?
These players have got a lot to lose. Contracts, lucrative sponsorship deals. You hurt the player, you hurt the club. She's making Boswell sweat, and sweaty men are generous men.
So you're saying this is about money?
What's the woman's name?
Rachel. Rachel Marr.
Now, let me guess. She's saying the player assaulted her as one Blake Davis, correct?
Sorry, I can't tell you.
Can't or won't?
You'll have to speak to Keith Boswell.
No, that's soft, Charlie. Soft.
Thanks, Charlie. Appreciate it.
Still the best arse in town, Tully?
He's covering his tracks.
Who?
Charlie, that's why he called you.
Took you that long to figure it out?
Well, if he didn't tell us about the allegation that proves correct, he could lose his license. He knows that.
Yes, which makes the assault serious, not just some uninvited grope in a crowded bar.
What are you doing there, Tully?
I'm doing what he's doing.
Well, I'm enjoying it, but you might want to take your hand off my ass.
It's not what our victim's wife's saying.
Mr. Boswell?
Can we have a word?
You want to explain to us why you withheld information relevant to a murder investigation?
Well, what you talking about?
Rachel Marr's sexual assault.
It's got nothing to do with Blake's death.
That's for us to decide, Mr. Boswell. Now, who did she say assaulted her?
You want us to charge you? Was it Blake Davis?
She alleged it was Reese Roberts. There was an altercation in the hotel bar. Blake accused Reese of the assault.
What time was this?
It was around 3 a.m. Rachel phoned me about 3 hours later, asked me what I was going to do about it.
What'd you tell her?
I asked her not to say anything until I checked it out. She didn't need much convincing.
Did she mention money by any chance?
It's only a matter of time.
And that's when you hired Charlie Palmer.
Detective, do you realize the damage an allegation like this can do to the club? Fans idolize these men. They travel hundreds of kilometers each week just to watch them play. They're like family. I will not risk that bond for some muckrakers trying to make a name for herself. Rachel Marr? Do you really think she's the first woman to try and take advantage of one of my boys?
Dad goes away heaps, sometimes for weeks. So if you're ever bored...
I gotta go, girls.
We love you, Reese. Anytime, anywhere.
Reese, we need a word.
Picked her up at the hotel bar, we went back to my room, we partied. She liked it a little bit rough.
It's not what she's saying.
Made a complaint, has she? Nah, if she did, we'd be having this conversation down at the station.
Come on, let's get into
Spoken like a man with experience.
That's it. Come on.
See that?
Right. Come on.
I knew that chick for less than 10 seconds. I don't need to rape women.
Come on, John.
I need to get back to training, so if you want to continue to talk to me, only if you're up for it.
Oh, I'm up for it.
10 more, come